Hello, and welcome to another episode of Just a Bet Outside. I'm your host, Steven. We're going to be diving into a little NFC preview today. So, we did a little AFC video a couple days ago, and we're going to dive into some NFC teams. So, it's going to be fun. I got some bold predictions about America's team, the Cowboys. We get to talk about our favorite team, the Seahawks. That should be really entertaining. But yeah, so other than that, we're going to try to keep this a little shorter than that first video. That was pretty long, but we want to go over every team and kind of give you guys some knowledge before we get into the week one of the NFL season, which starts on Thursday with the Bills and Rams. So yeah, before we get started, make sure to hit like and subscribe on this video, please. Maybe go follow us on Twitter. We're going to get some Instagram reels and videos up pretty soon. And so, yeah, we're going to be all over the place. The podcast app's going to be up, the audio, if you want to do that. So, yeah, Ryan, how are we doing today? Are we ready?
We're doing good. We're doing awesome. This is going to be a fun day, and we're going to talk some football.
Good deal. Well, without further ado, let's go. NFC South.
Yep.
Let's go. We got the New Orleans Saints, Tampa Bay, Carolina Panthers, and Falcons. Yeah, how are we feeling about this division?
I think it's going to be a close division between three teams. There's one team that's not going to be very good, and I think that's going to be the Atlanta Falcons. They just don't have very many weapons and don't play defense. Kyle Pitts is a good guy. What are they going to do at quarterback? You got Desmond Ridder as a backup and Marcus Mariota. He hasn't started since like 2019, something like that, 2018.
Yep.
It's been a minute, and even then he wasn't very good. I like him. I want them to do well, but they just don't got the weapons.
I agree with you. My take on this division, you said three teams. I think
Yes.
that's being a little generous. I would say two teams in this division have a chance to win it. It's the Saints and
are we
the
talking
Saints
about?
and Bucks.
Are we talking about winning it? Because only one team I think is winning it, but like competing and it being a good division, I think there's three teams.
So, yeah, sure. So we'll get there. So first the Saints. This is the Dennis Allen era. No Sean Payton. We got Jameis Winston. I mean, they're going through a big change, but they got a good receiver. They got two good receivers. Chris Olave, a rookie from Ohio State. He's a stud. Yeah, we talk a lot about Ohio State guys in this video.
You and the Buckeyes.
I know it's too much, but he's smooth. He's a legit receiver. We might bring him up a little bit later, but him and Michael Thomas, if he can stay healthy, I just think they got a good 1-2 duo. Their defense, they're like top 5 run defense, like every year it seems like. So they just know how to do it. Now they got a defensive coach, so I think they got a chance to knock off Tampa Bay in this division.
That's just you're taking them over Tampa Bay in this division, huh?
Yeah, we can talk about that later, but I think they got a chance. Yeah.
I'd have to disagree already with that. I just don't see that quite happening. But
well, listen. The only chance it happens is if Jameis Winston doesn't throw 58 picks. So they played conservative last year and did better, but if they let him unleash it, that could be good or it could be bad. We'll see.
You can't do 30 for 30 ESPNs if you don't throw 30 interceptions. You got to do it.
That's true.
It's just part of the
yeah.
Round 2.
Crab legs and throwing picks. That could be the title of it.
Yeah.
Okay. So speaking of that, the weird thing in this division is you got Jameis Winston and Mariota as quarterbacks in this division. I don't know if we remember it, but they were 1-2 in the draft. So
I did not
number
know
1,
that.
Mariota number 2. So I mean, I think that's pretty interesting that they're on different teams, still trying to make something of their career. We'll see how it goes. Mariota's roster is just awful, like you said. I mean, they're bottom tier defense, no weapons except Pitts. Cordell Patterson's not bad, but their team, I agree with you. I think they could easily be fighting for the number 1 pick next year.
Yeah. And then what do you do there? Ridder, and then you got all the good college quarterbacks coming out. You got to get another guy. Like that's a tough position.
No, I think Ridder will be a quarterback for that team by midseason.
Yeah. And then you'll know if you want him or if you want to draft one of the studs coming out of college. Yeah, it's a good idea.
That's enough about the Panthers or the Falcons. Sorry. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They got a guy named Tom Brady.
I've never heard of him. Who's he?
I don't know if he's a grandparent yet, but he's old.
A little bit.
He retired for about 40 days. So, my wife made me do a little keto diet. That was longer than his retirement. So, yeah, he came back pretty quick.
Yes, he sure did.
And so he's still good. He knows what he's doing. He lost his buddy Gronk.
Ah,
So,
that's a major loss.
yep,
I think that'll
yep.
hurt him a lot.
So, I think they're struggling the O line right now. They have a lot of injuries, lost a lot of guys, and so we'll see if they can protect Grandpa Brady. But
Is that his game? I thought it was Goat Brady, but we're going Grandpa Brady?
the goat, Grandpa the goat. Yeah, either way. Yeah,
Grandpa the
either
Goat.
way,
I
we'll
love
do it.
it.
Yeah, either way, we'll do it. So I just think they're going to take a little step back. They're going to be good still. I mean, don't get me wrong, Godwin when he gets back, but I just think they're going to be a little bit down to give the Saints a chance to win this. Yeah.
Gotcha. So it's more so Tampa Bay coming down to their level than the Saints going up,
A
is what you're
little bit of
thinking.
yeah, maybe a little both, but yeah, yep.
Gotcha. Do you think
So
it's more so because of Brady and everything that's going on this offseason that they start not being so good, or why?
I think, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think they lost Ndamukong Suh, maybe JPP, Pierre
Yes,
Paul.
they lost JPP for
So
sure and Sue. Yep.
so that hurts their defense a little bit. And like I said, it's their old line. I mean, they are just ravaged already by Sanders.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
so now listen, Brady already knows who's going to be open before they snap it. So he's going to find a way to just get rid of the ball within a second because he does not like to get hit. So
No.
yeah, so
No.
he could figure it out. He's Tom Brady, but I just think they got a chance.
Gotcha. That makes sense. One of my breakout players that I was maybe saving for later, but I'll touch on him now. Julio Jones. You don't think that's anything we're going on? I can tell already by your face that you're
Okay.
already.
He has and I mean a 0% chance of playing all season. 0. There's no way he's staying healthy. So
No way.
listen, Tom Brady makes everybody better.
Right.
But I mean, you still got Mike Evans. Godwin's going to be back soon. They have a great signing of Russell Gage from Atlanta. He was a great slot receiver last year.
He starts off hurt
So
though,
I mean,
as well, right?
he might be hurt a little bit, yeah. But I just think when the whole season gets rolling, I mean, Julio's like a 4th option at best. That is
See.
injury history, but I mean, they got him for cheap, so.
Oh yeah, I think that's why I think the move's great.
Yeah.
It reminds me of Randy Moss back when Tom Brady was still on the Patriots towards Randy Moss's end of his career, and then had just had a breakout year. So I think the chance is definitely there with Julio, but you're right. He has to stay healthy.
Yeah, there's a lot that has to happen. So we'll move on to the last team in this division that we didn't talk about, the Carolina Panthers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we have a buddy that's a Panthers fan.
Just a little one. Just a little bit.
And so I make fun of them a lot. So it already happens. So, but the stat I like to give that I found out is they have won exactly 5 games 3 years in a row.
What?
Now,
wow.
Yeah. I should check that, but I did read that somewhere. They won 5 games, 3 years in a row. So in a way, you can call them consistent, but it's just not in a good way. So
that's not nice.
Baker Mayfield at quarterback now. He's an upgrade. I don't think very highly of Baker in regards to his talent. He's okay, but they got a good young defense. Let's see. I think they were number 2 in yards allowed last season. So they got some things going for them on defense. Darnold was just throwing picks galore.
Giving it to the team.
Yeah,
yes.
He was Oprah.
Here you go.
You get a pick. You get a pick. You get a pick. I mean, it was bad. So Baker should help that a little bit. McCaffrey, if he can stay healthy all year, I think they win more than 5 games. But I still think they're a third place team in this division. Yeah.
And that's why I think they actually compete. I think Baker brings just something a little bit extra, has a point to prove that he can still be a quarterback. I feel like people are either really high on Baker and just love him and think he's amazing, or they think he's terrible. And I live right in the middle. I think he's can do what he needs to do, and I think he plays better when he has a chip on his shoulder and doesn't have like Odell and all this pressure of having the best team. So I think that's why it could be better.
Baker lives with a chip on his shoulder. I mean, that guy is angry at people. He's just ready to fight. So, we'll see how he does. I think he's got something to prove. I think they play the Browns week 1, by the way.
They do. Yep. Sure do.
So that should be pretty fun. What a coincidence, huh? The NFL puts that
yeah.
together. Yeah.
How'd they know that was going to happen?
Yeah. Seahawks Broncos on Monday night, week 1. Wow, what a coincidence. It's not entertainment business at all. Yeah.
No, so, not at all.
Yeah, that's the division. Last thing I wanted to say about this, maybe a couple fantasy. If you're an NFL fan, you might be doing fantasy football. So, Chris Olave is one we already talked about, but I think he's a good breakout. Russell Gage, depending on how long Godwin's out, he's going to be a good receiver. I think Brady's going to rely on him. But other than that, I don't see too many just standout players. DJ Moore is already pretty good. Kyle Pitts is already a stud. He's kind of already breaking out. So I don't know if you see anybody else. But
No, I don't see anybody else. You have your guys. You know what they're gonna get: Alvin Kamara, Michael Thomas, those things. Like you said, Mike Evans. You kind of already know what you're gonna get. Not too many breakouts. The
yeah,
only one, like I was saying, is Julio Jones. He's not going very high in drafts, so you can get him at the bottom and potentially
yeah,
have a superstar. But who knows?
yeah. No, you can get Julio late. Michael Thomas, like you said, actually could be one because he's going late because people aren't sure about his injury.
Mm,
Does he still have it? He didn't play last year, so yeah, that could be one. But let's move on because we are trying to make the video a little shorter. It's just not easy because we love football so much. So
yeah, and we got to touch on the teams a little bit.
that's right. That's right. So next division, let's go a little NFC North.
Okay.
This division is owned by one team. The Green Bay Packers have won 7 of the last 11
That's pretty good.
championships in this division. That's not
That's
bad.
not bad.
Yeah.
That's okay.
So they lost the guy Devontae Adams. It's the biggest offseason story probably of the season. He's a stud, and Devontae, I think what was it? He had a lot of targets. I don't know if I had. So he had about 169 targets last season.
Wow, that's a lot of
That's a
targets.
lot. Yeah. So Rogers just said hike and threw it to him pretty much every play. So that's
Yeah.
going to be their big question mark is at receiver. Can Allen Lazard step up? Randall Cobb,
Sammy Watkins.
Sammy Watkins, I believe. Yeah.
Yep,
So
Sammy Watkins.
can one of those step up? I'm an Allen Lazard believer. We'll see how that shakes out because being a number one receiver means you're number one DB on you. So we'll see how that goes. But
He's a
other than that,
big receiver, Lazard, right? Big guys, like
yeah,
6'5",
he's
6'4".
yep, big receiver. And when Devontae was out for 3 games, I mean, he put up some good numbers. So he's got a chance.
I
So
think he can do it.
But the big part about the Packers is they have the best 1-2 punch at running back. I mean,
Oh yeah.
oh man, Aaron Jones, he's a great pass catcher. He can run the ball. AJ Dillon, I mean, his quads are bigger than my body. We all know that. I mean, he is Mr. Quad.
As a
He's
backup, I think he had like 800 yards rushing as a backup.
oh
Yeah,
yeah,
803
yep.
yards rushing as a backup. That's impressive.
I have
Like,
him in like every fantasy league, by the way. I just think he's a stud. He runs hard. So they have a great 1-2 punch, and they may just put them both on the field and just put them in space and get them both. Aaron Jones more
that'd
of a
probably be a good
receiver.
idea.
Um, they're the best players, so why not? And a good young
Yeah.
defense that they're building. So they're going to be tough.
Yeah, I think Rodgers will struggle a little bit this year because he just doesn't trust rookies, doesn't trust young guys, and then he just doesn't. Yeah, his team. He's not well with his teammates sometimes, and I
I
think
can
that's
see him
gonna.
yelling at those receivers a lot.
Oh
Yeah, like
yeah,
you should have gone here. Defense is doing that. What are you doing? He doesn't have
yeah,
a safety blanket. So that'll be interesting to see. But they'll have a great running game and a pretty good defense. So the only team chasing them in this division, in my opinion, are the Vikings. Vikings were supposed
yes.
to be good last year, and they finished, I don't know, 8-9 or 9-8. I don't remember, but they got a new head coach, Kevin O'Connell.
Hmm.
So no more Mike Zimmer. So no more running the ball all the time. I think Kirk Cousins had some games where he threw like under 20 times.
Oh
But
wow.
so he's the Rams O coordinator, and he was last year, Kevin O'Connell. So he's gonna come over, be a little more creative, and they're gonna throw the ball, and that's a good thing because they have Justin Jefferson, and that guy is
Oh
a
yeah.
beast. I
Whew.
mean, he's a future Hall of Famer. He's a stud. And
Yeah.
when you pair him with a solid veteran and Adam Thielen, I also think Irv Smith is not a bad tight end. I wrote about him in justabetoutside.com for tight end breakouts, by the way. But I just think, and they got Zadarius Smith, a good edge rusher from the Packers, which is a double bonus for them because their pass rush was just, I mean, it was bad. So
Their pass rush wasn't actually that bad. I believe they had 51 sacks last year, second place in sacks last year. But here's the flip side: they gave up like second most yards and were like top, like very bad at stopping people from scoring. So you sacked them,
yeah,
but then you just gave up the yards
so
again. It was terrible.
when I watched them play, they got some sacks, but I don't think they put consistent pressure on the quarterback.
That could be true.
So, sacks can be a good number, but then when you're not getting sacks, are you still putting pressure? And their secondary was a struggle for them. I mean, I think they used let's see, yeah, they used the first round pick on a safety. I mean, they know it's a struggle, but listen, their offense I think is going to be loaded. I think if Kirk
Yeah.
Cousins can, he's pretty. I think he's a little underrated. He's been playing well, and if they can get creative with their offense, Dalvin Cook's just a beast. I mean, if he can stay healthy, he's a
I was just gonna
stud.
say he's got to stay healthy. I don't think he's done a single year where he has finished the entire season.
No,
Some of
I
his
don't think
stats
so
were
either.
unreal, and he only played 14 games. He missed 3 games, and his stats were
Yeah,
just insane.
yeah. I
Like,
think that's
oh
crazy. So
wow,
yeah, I think their offense is loaded. I think they got a chance to compete for this division. When I first looked into this division, I was thinking, you know what? I think the Vikings win it. It's a bet that I looked into, and I just saw that the Packers still have Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon. So I don't know. I think they can give them a run for their money, but I still think this is the Packers division.
I want to say Minnesota. I think I can convince myself to go with Minnesota with winning the division and Green Bay to get in the wild card this year. Minnesota lost a lot of close games, and if those close games switch to wins this year, then they're right there to win the division. And I think the Packers will take a step back because of the receivers that Rodgers lost. I think it's better to throw to everybody, but not for that guy. He just can't do it.
So, and here's the thing coming out of Packers camp that I've heard is now that he doesn't have Devontae, it can sometimes make things a little easier sometimes where they're going to be now they can just spread it around.
Mm-hmm.
He's not just looking at Devontae. He's going to be just read the defense, pick whoever's open, and as long as the receivers can do decent and get open and catch the ball, so it could, maybe it's not as big of a drop off as everyone thinks. We'll see.
Yep, we'll see. Definitely.
Yeah.
What about the other two teams?
Oh yeah, here we go. Okay, so like I mentioned about shortening the video, I got a team here that could shorten it. The Bears. They're awful, and I mean awful. They have Darnell Mooney, and that's their only weapon. Their O-line struggles. I mean, their defense isn't even that good. Roquan Smith's their leader. He's good. They don't have anything going for them at all. Justin Fields is a decent young quarterback. I don't know if you know where college he went to.
Wait, yeah, I do. Buckeyes. I think you've told me enough times.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Okay, so Ohio State Buckeyes. I think he's decent. I'm not going to sit here and say he's excellent, but he has no chance. I mean, they just gave him nothing. They made their roster worse. Yeah, so I'm done with the Bears. They're awful. They're going to be fighting for number 1 spot. Them and the Falcons, 2 worst teams in the NFC, and maybe another team we'll talk about later.
I got a feeling I know what you're saying, but I don't like it, so we won't touch that one.
Yeah, you got anything on the Bears, or can we move on?
I got nothing. So we can speed up this. They're a bad team. Okay. They did not give Justin Fields any weapons. How do you do that to a young quarterback? That just makes no sense. You didn't talk about your tight end though. Didn't you write about him maybe?
Oh, Cole Kmet.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you for that. He's also in the top 5 tight end breakouts on justthebetoutside.com. And he's not bad. He's pretty good. He's a 3rd-year guy. But the problem is they just don't have a good O-line. And Fields hasn't proved anything, and they're just not a good offense. So you're not going to get a ton of scoring opportunities. But they will probably be passing a lot at the end of the game. David Montgomery I always thought was a pretty good running back. But again, if you do not have a good O-line in the NFL, you're not going to be good. So, and I could be wrong. O-line changes year to year. So again, that's something that we just think is going to happen. But I do think Darnell Mooney is a good player.
Yes, I think he can get you fantasy points if you're looking for fantasy. But everybody else besides your tight end, no, they're a bad team.
Yep, I agree. So last team, Detroit Lions. I want the Lions to win. Like I really do. If you're watching Hard Knocks, I haven't been caught up yet. I think I've only watched 2 episodes or so of Hard Knocks. Jamal Williams gave a teary-eyed speech after one practice. It was great. Dan Campbell's just he's a dude's dude. But so that's fun to watch. They're going to be better. They're everyone's darling. I mean, they're still the Lions, so let's we got to pump the brakes a little bit. But they got weapons. I mean, we're looking at their receivers. Amar, what's his name? St. Brown.
Yeah, I wrote it down, and I cannot say that
I don't know
name at all.
Yeah, anyways, I know I even watched him. His dad was like an Olympian or anything, but Yeah, he's good. They also brought in DJ Chark, I believe.
Yeah, from the
But their two
Jags.
biggest, yeah, their two biggest weapons are DeAndre Swift and TJ Hawkinson. I mean, they're just DeAndre Swift is an absolute stud. If he can stay healthy, he only was healthy for eight
Once
games last
again,
year. If he can stay
yep,
healthy, he's good.
he just does not stay healthy at all.
But he's young. I think he's
He
year two,
is,
year three. So
but
they're getting better. They are improving under Dan Campbell, and their roster is getting better. Jared Goff played better in the second half of the year, but the stat I had is they lost 6 games by a touchdown or less.
that's
So
good.
for
Yeah,
that's scrappy for a team that had their roster. I mean, to be that close, they lost, I believe, a tough game to the Ravens on Justin Tucker hitting like a 60-something yarder at the
he
buzzer.
set a record, didn't he? Or no?
Yeah, I
They
think
set
it
the
was a
NFL
record.
record
I
with
don't know
that
if it
kick.
still is, but yeah. Oh,
That
it
dude
was
has a
like
leg.
it was unbelievable. So it was just a Lion thing to do. Again, they
Yeah,
kind of remind me of the Mariners because I'm a baseball fan too. But the Mariners are awesome this year. Well, that's a whole other thing. So that's my thought on the Lions. I mean, I think Aiden Hutchinson's a stud from University of Michigan, their number one pick, and he's
yep.
going to help their pass rush a lot. So I do think they're improving. And bold statement for the Lions, they got a chance to finish 500 or even slightly better. And listen,
That would
that's like a
be
Super Bowl for the Detroit Lions.
that would be a
So
huge improvement after going 3-13 to be able to go right around 500 because you can't really do
it,
500 with a 17 game season, but
yeah,
definitely right
yeah.
there.
But we all know the NFL is just a game of inches. And like I said, they
Oh, it
lost six
is.
games by a touchdown, and 3-13 can turn into 8-9 or 9-8, pretty quickly. So that's my thought.
Yeah, yeah. What do you think of their? Is it Jamison Williams, the tight end or the wide receiver, rookie wide receiver?
Yeah, he's probably the best receiver in college, but he tore his ACL, so he's not
Yeah,
starting until a little later. And they drafted him knowing that too. But he's I watched him play. He is good. He's athletic. He's gonna help. I mean, if you look at the weapons they have with DeAndre Swift, TJ Hawkinson, and him being brought in now, and they got a lot of weapons for Jared Goff. We haven't even talked about Jared Goff, but
his stats aren't that
he
bad. I was
no,
doing some
he's
research and
nothing.
they're not bad stats. I mean, 19 touchdowns, 8 picks, threw the ball like 67% completion rate. That's pretty good for a team that the Rams just like got rid of him. But then that was a good idea because they won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, that worked out. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, I think Jared Goff has gotten a little bit better. I made fun of him a lot when he was with the Rams, but I think he's gotten a little better and he's serviceable. He's just one of those quarterbacks now that has all the weapons and go do work. Like we talked about in
right.
the AFC video with Tua. He's got weapons. It's up to you now to make it work, and their defense does have to improve to get to 500. But
Yeah, and hopefully it does with Aiden Hutchinson coming in,
yeah,
and helping out that D line for sure.
yep. So we'll move on. A quick fantasy breakout: AJ Dillon, AJ Dillon, AJ Dillon, AJ Dillon. He's a
What's
stud.
his name? I don't know if I got his
AJ
name.
Dillon. Yeah,
Okay.
his Mr. Dillon to you. And he's a stud. If anything happens to Aaron Jones, AJ Dillon's a top 5 running back in the league. I mean, that's a
Yeah.
no-brainer. And he's pretty
Yep.
darn good, even 50-50 split. He'll get goal line carries. He's a stud. So
I think he
that's the
can
NFC
receive the
North.
ball too. Well, like I think they
Yeah,
threw him the ball like
no, I think
37
so. And,
times and he caught like
oh,
34. That catch rate
absolutely.
is huge.
It's crazy. Yeah.
Like,
And he's still got Aaron
wow.
Rodgers, so he's gonna put it right on the money. Yeah. Yeah. You got
Yeah.
any fantasy breakout players in that division before we move on?
I think Adam Thielen, with the new Rams offense coordinator coming over, could have a kind of a step up breakout year with that style of offense. Jefferson, that's not really a breakout, but he's going to dominate. I heard people in the media talking about Jamar Chase is going to blow all receivers away, and I'm not sure if that's the case. You got Justin Jefferson, you got Cooper Kupp. Like, no, he's not going to blow away
No.
everybody. It's just that you
No,
get
Cooper
too
Kupp,
many
first
weapons.
of all, blew everyone away. No,
Yeah,
I agree with you. Yeah, and Justin Jefferson's easily as talented as Jamar Chase, if not more.
yeah,
Jamar had huge games and then disappeared some games because they got T Higgins and all that. But that's a whole topic. So,
yeah.
so we'll move on to the NFC
East.
East.
Yep.
It's crappy, but it's crappy every year. So I mean, that's not a surprise, And there is one good team in this division, in my opinion. And so we're about to get to America's team, Cowboys, and I hate them.
Is that the one good team? Are you going there?
No.
Okay.
We're gonna get
Whew,
there.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say.
let's start out with the good team, and I'll just start out with the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles had maybe one of the best off seasons in the NFL. I
They
mean,
had
they
a very
absolutely,
impressive
yeah.
offseason.
So
Yeah.
they got AJ Brown, just huge pickup. To go with Devontae Smith, Heisman winner, young second-year receiver. They got a great 1-2 combo. Uh, the big question is, will Jalen Hurts learn to throw the ball better? Let's be honest.
Yeah, he's got to throw the ball a lot better. I was hearing some things. AJ Brown like runs most of his routes inside. It's like 60% of his routes are in cutting routes, and Jalen Hurts does not throw that ball. He doesn't throw it over across the middle. Like most of his passes were outside the hash, outside the numbers, and it's like that doesn't mix well. Hopefully it will. Maybe they're just doing that because of Devontae Smith is a guy, get the ball quick outside, let him do his thing, and doesn't need to go in the middle because he's kind of a small guy. You don't want to get him killed and blasted with those linebackers. So maybe that'll change some. But yeah.
No, I agree. No, that's a good point. I do agree with that. Maybe he just didn't have that weapon, and maybe that's why he didn't throw it inside a lot. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, he is improving. You can see it a little bit, but you know, quarterbacks that struggle with accuracy or arm strength and all that, you don't usually see it just improve mightily over the course of a
No.
career. You either got it or you don't when it comes to that. But
Yeah.
we'll see. He's got the weapons. They got a running game. Miles Sanders isn't bad. O line, I think, is going to be one of the better O lines in the league
Yep.
this year.
Heard that it definitely could be one of the best O lines in the league, and you know that helps a team go a long ways. If you have an O line, pass protection, run the ball, push the ball down the field, it just makes life a lot easier.
Mm-hmm. And that's why you're going to hear us talk about O lines because listen, I don't know every single talent of every O lineman, but I mean you just got to have an O line to win games. So other than that, they finished 6-2 last season to end the year. But
That's
they
good.
didn't play a playoff team, I don't believe, so it was a weak schedule. But still, you're winning games, so they did show improvement. AJ Brown will help. The last thing I want to say about the Eagles is they were second to last in sacks last season, so that needs to improve. But they did pick up Hassan Reddick, so that was a big pickup. I think Hassan Reddick. Let's see, he had
11 sacks,
23 and a half sacks last 2 years.
Yeah. Yep. I see that. Yeah. That's pretty good production.
Good production. So that's going to help them. And another thing going for them is the rest of these teams are just not that good. I mean, I just don't see them doing much.
That helps you get some wins when you play your division teams twice a year. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. What about Jordan Davis? Dude, that dude is a monster. 6'6", 341 pounds.
Oh yeah.
I saw a picture of him next to Devontae Smith. Oh, it is funny looking.
Devontae is tiny. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's great for football. I don't know how he lives, honestly.
No. That's just a big human being. And the 40-yard time, 4.78 40 at that size. Wow.
He ran a 4.78.
That's what it said. Yeah. Clocked like 4.82, but then the official thing was 4.78. That's just he can move for that big of a man.
Wow, that's impressive. Yeah, very, very impressive. So yeah, that's the Eagles. Any thoughts on the Cowboys?
I don't know. They have a weird team. They had maybe the worst offseason ever. Like
they did nothing.
No, yeah. How do you have a good team, playoff team, and then you do nothing with it? You're like, we'll just let people go. That sounds like a good idea.
And I know some of it's money related, but they let go of Amari Cooper, which they shouldn't have signed him to that last contract. I mean, they just had too many guys to sign, and anyways, they let go of Amari Cooper, and they just didn't do anything. They didn't do anything to improve. They were an okay team last year. I think they had a first-round exit last year. But they weren't that good. They were only good because I think they, I could be wrong on this exactly, but I think they just had a really good record against their division teams. And that kind of propelled them into,
I think they started hot and were playing really good football and had a lot of turnovers, and the defense was playing well because of turnovers. And then towards the end of the season, it kind of just switched. And then, so like, which team is real? The first half of the season or the second half of the season? And so, losing Randy Gregory, I think will hurt Micah Parsons, who I think is an absolute stud and could be a superstar of this league for many, many years to come. But you lose Amari Cooper, and what? You do nothing? You don't pick up anybody to help out CeeDee Lamb? You know Michael Gallup's hurt, and you're just hoping he comes back and is Michael Gallup right away. Like
Yeah,
I don't
no,
I
I
don't get
agree.
it. So I
I
guess
agree.
they hope Zeke is still what he's been, which has actually been a pretty productive back. Like I thought maybe he was not very good last year, but
Yeah.
that's not what the stats say. I mean, he's
No.
up there again in yards and everything.
Okay. First of all,
Oh, don't
look.
agree, huh?
No. I do. First, where did Zeke go to college?
Did he go there again?
Yeah, he
He's
was in
done a
Ohio State.
no,
But listen,
no. Come on.
anybody who watches Zeke and Tony Pollard run, it's not even close who's more explosive. And maybe that changes this year. Maybe Zeke got in a better shape. Tony Pollard, I think he averaged like I don't know
I
if I have
think
it, like five
I
and a
have
half
it. Hold
yards a
on, I'd have to
carry. I mean, he
find.
was
I
top in the
think
league
yep.
or one of the top in the league.
Fifth
And
best,
and when
fifth
he
best in the league.
wow, see, and if you watch him
Yep.
run it, I mean, he was explosive. So Pollard's going to be used as a receiver. He's going to take some carries. It's slowly handing off to him. Zeke's still, I think, being thrown under the bus a little too early. But he is dropping. The biggest difference in Zeke's career now than before is they had the number one O line for a few years now. They were
Mm-hmm.
known for just dominating people. It's not that great anymore. I'm not saying it's terrible, but it's not their biggest strength anymore.
I think
And I think
losing
that
Tyrone Smith. I think he's on
yeah,
the PUP
yep.
or starts on the PUP or something. I think that'll
Uh-huh.
hurt the first 4 games. Absolutely not having him. I think they picked up Jason Peters, who's really old and came from the Eagles. I think they just signed him a few days ago or maybe even today.
Oh, is that where he went? I knew he just signed somewhere.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so their O line isn't that great, and I think that's
No.
affected Dak too because I think Dak looked better than he really was at the beginning of his career because his O line just dominated people,
Right.
and he had all the time in the world, good receivers. But C.D. Lamb's a stud, and we haven't mentioned Dalton Schultz. He's a stud. He's a great receiver,
Mm-hmm.
really athletic as a tight end. He's pretty much like a receiver, so he's going to put up big numbers. They got their defense is nothing to be proud of. I read this stat, and this is one of the craziest stats I've heard. Trayvon Diggs, their corner,
Mm-hmm.
he had
I was gonna say
11.
something
Did you
about it.
read this? He had
Yeah.
11 picks last year, but he also gave up the most yards of any DB at
Yep.
like 1,051 yards.
It's
He,
yeah.
he
So
that's amazing. He just took. I mean, when the play was there, he took it, and he was probably taking. He's an aggressive corner. He takes
yeah.
chances, and that's why you get the good and the bad. But
There was a reason teams were throwing at him. There was a reason he got that many picks. Quarterbacks didn't let him get picks, but they were throwing it
that's
to him
true.
because he gave up a lot of yards. It sometimes sucks for cornerbacks and safeties. You don't get picks. Well, you suck. You didn't get no picks. No, I got 0 targets as well. I remember
Oh,
when Richard
oh,
Sherman played Aaron
oh yeah.
Rodgers.
I was just gonna say that. Yep.
Didn't throw it his way at all. Not once.
Didn't even
Whole
look
game.
at. I mean, he really didn't
Nope.
even look at him. Yeah. No,
Nope.
Sherman would just take away a part, and he wouldn't have many picks that year because they just didn't even look that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the
So
few times they
so
did go
that's
over
why.
there, it was picked. It was funny. It's like,
Yeah.
we're not
Yeah.
going over there all game. Okay, we'll try it
No.
once.
Yeah.
Gosh, I knew
Yeah.
not to.
Yeah. Exactly. And so, I mean, if you're a DB who's just looking to get picks, then yeah, just keep giving up catches too, and
Yeah.
then take your chance in the picks. But he's got some talent. Michael Parsons is a leader. He's a stud. DeMarcus Lawrence, if he can stay healthy, is a good DN. But they don't have any pieces. I the bold statement for me, and maybe it's not that bold. Dallas Cowboys missed the playoffs this year. That's my bold statement.
I think
Um,
that's bold. I still think.
yeah, no,
I haven't sat down and said who's going to get where and which teams are
yeah,
going to do
yeah.
wild card and schedules, but I do think they're a good enough team to get in the playoffs. Zeke or Dak Prescott still can sling the football. His completion percentage 68% completion percentage. That's pretty good. I know sometimes it's in garbage time and people say that, but 4,449 yards and 37 touchdowns and only 10 picks. That's a
It,
pretty good quarterback.
I
That's not
do think
bad.
it's a little fake. I see them down 20 in the fourth, and then they. But yeah, no. Listen, he's not a terrible quarterback, but I just think the only way they make the playoffs is because the NFC just isn't very strong. So that's the only
Yeah,
worry
and
about
that's
that bold prediction. But yeah,
oh
yeah,
yeah, that makes sense. The NFC is kind of you have 3 good teams, and then it's nothing and really bad.
yeah. There's a big middle crew. So, but that's enough about America's team because I don't like them. We're gonna go quick on these next two. Washington Commanders. I don't think they're gonna be awful. They got Carson Wentz, who he's on his third team in 3 years. He's not very good.
That has to say something.
I
I mean,
agree, and
that's
I think
not
he's a
good.
cancer in the locker room. I don't think people like him. He's still got something to prove since he was with Philly and had an MVP season that year until he got hurt. They got a good running back duo. Unfortunately, one of them got shot on a
That's so sad.
yeah, that was
A
brutal.
robbery,
So
right?
yeah, I think it's a robbery. So, but somehow he's out of the hospital and might play week 5. Listen,
That's
I'm out 5 weeks with a cold sometimes, and this guy's getting shot and playing week 5. I mean, that's impressive. So good for him. That was cool to see. But
yeah.
him and
Just
Antonio
got out of the
Gibson are a
hospital,
good combo.
right?
Yeah.
I read that
So
correctly.
I think he just came out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So him and Gibson are a good 1-2 combo. Terry McLaurin, do you know where he went to college?
I'm gonna go
Yeah.
with Michigan. Did he go to
Yeah,
Michigan?
yeah, not quite. No, not quite. So he's a stud. He's a Buckeye. He's a stud. He's had terrible quarterbacks.
Yes, I was
I
gonna
think
bring
we've
that
had
up.
this. Yeah, we've talked about this before. It's just been terrible. Yeah.
He's had very bad quarterbacks, and now I know people aren't huge on Carson Wentz, but he's a real quarterback in the NFL. The other guys, I love Tyler Heineke, or whatever people want to call him. I think he's awesome. I like his attitude, his swagger, everything about him, his passion for football, but he's not Carson Wentz. He's
Yeah.
just not. Like, Carson Wentz is
He's
a
liked it
real
because he tried
quarterback.
hard.
Yeah, he tried hard and scrappy little dude. But Carson Wentz had 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, but he cannot be accurate with the football. 62%, I think, is like his career percentage. That's not a very good percentage throwing the football. That's a lot of misses that you just can't have. And some, I think I've watched a couple of games. Some are just really bad misses. Like, how did you miss that?
Oh,
That's not a hard throw.
yeah. Yeah, I
So
think it was when they played the Seahawks. I don't know when that was, a couple years ago. And he was a quarterback, and they didn't score many points, and he was missing like running back dump offs, just throwing it
yeah,
over their head. I mean, it was bizarre. His mechanics, something could happen with mechanics. Just shows you what Doug Peterson did with him in Philly. They just knew his strengths, did a lot of RPOs, and they just so you're right though. He's their best quarterback that McLaurin's had. I mean, he
yeah,
will improve. He doesn't throw a great deep ball, but I think between they always got a good D line. Chase Young disappeared last year. I know he got hurt, but I think he only had a couple sacks after his dominant
yep.
rookie season. So I don't know what happened to him. But if he comes back, their D line can play decent. They got a lot of high draft picks there. They could be a decent team fight for a last wild card spot if things break right.
I think they definitely got a break right. Chase Young, I don't know if he's going to come back healthy for this season, like, at all. He started on the PUP list like quick, like they didn't even give him a chance. So I think that
Yeah,
means
that's
something.
crazy.
Like, this isn't going to be a good one. Reading something that they had to do like a graft for, is it an ACL? And they had to like do extra stuff for the ACL and the knee, so that's why it's
Yeah,
taking longer. So I don't think it's going to be pretty, and he's going to come back and not going to be. That's what he relies on, is explosion and get off. And when your knee's gone, it's just
yeah.
not the same.
No, I agree. And so we're on the same page with them. Let's move on to the last team, New York Giants. It sucks to be a New York sports fan. Let's just say that. You get
Unless
the
you're a
Giants,
Yankees fan, right?
Jets. I know. In 2 sports, I was only going to say Giants, Jets, and Knicks. That's brutal. That's just
Oh,
brutal.
yeah.
Just missed out on Donovan Mitchell when they were supposed to get him. And the Yankees are fading too. But anyways, the Giants are just not a good team. Daniel Jones is not a legitimate quarterback at all. He's not an NFL quarterback. In his defense, their O-line has been atrocious, and so
Really bad.
time. Oh, really bad. Yeah,
So
Saquon, when
bad.
he is healthy, he never had holes to run through.
Right.
Saquon,
he had 2 very good years to start out his career, and then he kind of got nicked and banged up. But when he has played, the next 2 years has not been very good.
No,
And maybe it's because of the O-line, and maybe it's because there's no weapons on the outside, so they're putting 11 in the box every play, and he can't do anything when he does have it. So
I agree. They have. It's hard to know because of their O-line and their quarterback, but Tony, Kadarius Tony, I think his name is, and Sterling Shepard. I mean, they got some okay pieces on the outside, but they're just bad. They average. Let's see this. They averaged 15.2 points per game last season.
oh
That's
wow,
bad.
that's
So
not
I don't know if you know this,
good at
but
all.
that's 15.2 more than me and you average. That's not a lot.
I think the NFL. The NFL is an offensive league now. I know, like, people still say like defense wins championships, but come on, when you're putting up 50s and 40s, what's 15 going to do for you? That's
exactly. Yeah.
That's nothing.
So
That's really
so the
bad.
only good thing that came over this is they got a new head coach, Brian Daboll. I don't know how you pronounce his name exactly,
Is it
but he came
Dibble?
over from Buffalo. I'm not
Maybe
sure.
not. Yeah, I don't
But he
know.
came over from the Bills, and he's got a good mind. Here's the deal with the NFL: coaches that just have good weapons, they get jobs. And maybe this
Yeah,
guy is a good coach. We'll find out. But he got the job because of Josh Allen and
right.
Stephon Diggs, and like
Yeah,
they're good. So
yeah.
or
You
maybe
got
he
the
made
job.
them good.
You got the job because you have weapons, and now you go to a team that doesn't have weapons, so you lose the job. And then you kind of
Yeah,
get back to a
yeah.
team
It
that has
happens
weapons.
all
Oh,
the
you're
time.
good
Yeah.
again. No, it's the players and the coaches. It's all about where you land, I think, in this league. Like,
Oh,
you can be
huge.
an absolute superstar in college and look
Yeah.
like you're going to be amazing, and then go to a team and an organization that just is not very good, and you do nothing with your career. Not nothing. Obviously, playing in the NFL
Yeah.
is,
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
special,
Yeah.
cool,
Yeah. Yeah.
but
Yeah. Yeah.
you're not doing what you were expected or think that you could just because the situation, schemes,
Yeah.
coaches, other guys, all of it.
Yep, you got to catch breaks and injuries and everything. So that's why whenever an NFL player is trying to get paid, um, uh, it's kind of a side, kind of to go with what you're saying, but I just think, I get it. As long as you're not trying to get one too early before your contract's up, but I just get it because you might only be guaranteed one good contract and then tear both ACLs and things
Yep.
don't happen. I mean, you lose just a quarter of a step and you're no longer a professional athlete sometimes.
Oh,
So
they're looking for the next guy. If you lose a quarter of a
yeah,
step, they're looking.
yeah, you're just a little piece for them. So
Yep.
NFC East breakout player Dalton Schultz. I wrote about him, and I just think he's CD Lamb, but he's being drafted high. So other than that, there's not a lot of weapons on this. Devontae Smith, but you got to trust the number 2 receiver with bad quarterback, or throwing
That would
quarterback.
be,
So
yeah, I think he could have a little bit of a down year and kind of take up a hit because being a number 2 and just not
yeah,
be a great quarterback. I don't know. Is Terry McCullen, is he getting pretty high picks in fantasy draft? Or
not
because
too high. He's a good one. Yeah,
I think he can be one of the breakout ones and kind of outplay his draft status for sure. Just with having a good quarterback,
yeah,
and then he does have other weapons in Curtis Samuel and things like that
yeah.
that could
That's true.
he can catch a break and not have 3 guys looking at him.
Yeah, yeah. That's true. Actually, I agree with the McLaurin statement. I was all in on McLaurin last year. I mean, I was all in on fantasy. I just thought he is the breakout stud. I might have been a year too early, but they had Ryan Fitzpatrick at quarterback, and so I thought,
Yes.
okay, that's their quarterback.
Hmm.
He finally has a quarterback. He's gonna do something. And then Ryan Fitzpatrick went down week 1, maybe quarter 1 for the
Yeah, it
year,
was
and
early
it was
that
the
one.
Taylor
Yeah,
Heineke show, and the whole thing fell apart. So, you're right. I like McLaurin though. That's a good one. Yep.
yeah, I would go there for sure.
So, last division. So in that, in that division, I do have the Eagles winning it. By the way, if you can't tell, it's probably pretty obvious,
Oh
but I think the
yeah,
Eagles win that.
that was
Yeah.
me.
So NFC West, big Seahawk fans here. Let's talk
Hmm.
about them first.
Going with them first, huh?
Go for it. Just give me some good news, please.
All right. So on my notes, I even say I don't want to talk about this team because we've had some good seasons in the past few years. Not recent years, but we're a playoff team doing good. But we offer Super Bowls and Russ and exciting football. But man, they're saying 5.5 wins, 5 wins. I do think we will be better than that. Looking at the team offensively, if Geno Smith can do what he did as a backup, not prepared. What are you whispering over there? I can see you. No. If he can do what he did those games, I think our offense can still be pretty good. My question is the defense. So I questioned that all last year. And really, they weren't as bad as I thought. They gave up the most yards, I think, in the league last year, or
Well,
not the
that's
most,
phenomenal
but
for
it
them.
was.
They give up a lot of yards. Yeah.
But I don't
Yeah.
know if you knew this. Their defense was on the field 50 more times than any other team in the National Football League. 50. That's a lot.
I agree. How is that changing this year?
Okay, so I guess that's not changing as far as defensively,
Yeah.
but I think with not having Russ, maybe we'll start converting some third downs, hitting a check down and moving the chains, having shorter, 2nd and 7, 3rd and 4s rather than 3rd and 7, and the defense just pins their ears back and blows through our offensive line, and we give up a sack, or Russ tries to twirl
Yeah.
twirl around in the
Rush tried
backfield.
to make some big plays, obviously. And he was the reason for some of those sacks, and I agree with that. And that could
So
help.
I
But
think Gino keeps us ahead of the chains and kind of keeps moving the ball down the field, and we stay on offense a little bit more, and that helps the defense. And because we didn't give up that many points last year, like we gave up like middle of the road, so that was impressive for how much that team was, on the field.
yeah, yeah, I
So
agree. And I think
I
we're
would say
switching
like,
to. Go
yeah,
ahead.
you're right. The 3-4.
Yeah, I think we're switching to a 3-4.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we've been a 4-3 for a really long time. I could be wrong,
Forever.
but yeah. So we're going to count on line. I mean, Jordan Brooks could be a really good linebacker, but I think we're taking who is it? I forget his name now. Anyways, we're trying to convert some DNs to linebacker to see if they fit. And
Daryl Taylor. Is that who you're
Daryl
talking
Taylor,
about?
I knew it was Daryl. I just forgot. Yeah, I was thinking
Yeah.
something else. So they're trying to convert him to edge rusher, but we just don't have a lot of pieces. Our DBs are going to be horrendous.
That's the scary part for me. They're not good. I think they're kind of starting off banged up already. Jamal Adams can't cover people. Like when we traded for that guy years ago, I thought it was like awesome. I didn't like what we gave up. It was too much, and then realized he cannot cover.
No, and we lost DJ Reed, which is probably our only decent corner.
Yeah.
I do like Diggs, but they just don't have enough pieces on the D line to get to the quarterback at all. They don't have the DBs to prevent, anything. So when you got no pass rush and you can't cover people very well, when only one of your four people in the secondary actually covers people, which is Diggs, he can actually play decent. I just think it's a struggle bus. So I disagree with you. I hope you're right. I really do.
Oh, I really hope so.
I do think Pete Carroll is competitive, and we're never usually a team that's going to win 3 games and get blown out every game. We've always been in it, and Gino will manage the game, and we'll see how long that lasts. But I just don't see a lot of positives in our goals this year. It's unfortunate.
What about Rashad Penny and Kenneth Walker, the
I
third?
was just going to get that. So for a rebuilding team, we have some of the best skill position players there is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, rebuilding teams usually have DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, Kenneth Walker, Penny. Penny, I mean, we all know Penny. Penny is, we'll see. If he's on the field, then he's good. He had a great end of the year last year.
Last 3 games and last 5 games, those were very productive, very good stats out of those games.
And Kenneth Walker is a good college running back. I watched him play that game against Michigan. It was just impressive. And so it's a good 1-2 punch. They're kind of starting out COVID and injured, and I think Kenneth Walker just had a little hernia surgery or something. He might be back soon. But so if they can stay healthy and figure out a way to run the ball, then I think you're right. We got a chance. But we have got to run the ball well. If we don't run the ball well, this season could be just ugly in a hurry. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I agree. I definitely agree that there's a chance that it can go south really bad. And, that 3-win thing could, I know Pete likes to, he's done good the last few years and keep the team fighting, but you could be right. If it goes south, it could go south bad quick.
Yeah. And for the first time ever, this has nothing to do with this, just side note, in September, I'm going to care a lot more about the Seattle Mariners than I will care about the Seattle Seahawks. I'm just saying right now. The Mariners are close to going to the playoffs for the first time since I was 15. Oh, baby. Okay, that's separate. Anyways, so that's the Seahawks. Sorry for you non-Seahawk fans that we talk so much about them, but those are our boys. So we can go quick on the Rams. To me, not much has changed. They're still loaded. Roster hasn't changed a lot. Odell's still coming back. They're probably going to get him later this year. I guess they'll pick him up.
You think so?
Allen Robinson, and so big pickup to me for them was Bobby Wagner. I think we all know Bobby Wagner really well. I love Bobby Wagner. He's a stud. And
losing him was more painful than losing Russ to me.
Oh yeah,
not even close.
Yeah, especially how it happened. So, but Bobby Wagner is a stud. He'll bring leadership to that defense. The only thing going against the Rams is that they just won the Super Bowl, and
I would agree.
To win it twice, and are you as hungry? That's it.
Yep. The guys got their rings, and maybe not quite as much fight, maybe not as much. Missed a training camp or missed a workout here or there because they got the ring on the finger.
Yep, I agree. So we know the Rams are good. 49ers. They're a wild card this year for me, man. They are a wild card. They could be really good. It's
That's
going to depend on Trey Lance a little bit, but Shanahan's a stud. They are one of the most creative run games I've ever seen, in how they use Debo and their running backs and everything. So they're legit. They somehow stay in games. Their defense holds them in. They're scrappy. I think they got a chance to do something good. They had a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter in the AFC Championship game this year. Let that
wow.
sink in for a second.
I did
They
not
were a
remember. I
quarter
don't didn't
away
remember
from
that.
being in the Super Bowl. Quarter away from being in the Super Bowl until the Rams came back and won.
So wait,
So
let me get this right. They were 10. They almost won a Super Bowl with Jimmy G. They are up in the fourth quarter by 10 points in the NFC Championship game, and they still are going with Trey Lance. Like,
correct. Trey Lance is gonna probably be like a Jalen Hurts. He's gonna run a lot. He's got athletic ability. I think he had
right?
one game where he ran for around 80 yards. So
Hmm.
he brings that to the table. I think his throwing abilities and reads are going to take some time, but
Yeah.
Shanahan's a brilliant mind on offense, and he's going to probably find ways to put him in good spots. And their creative running game. I mean, Debo's a stud, and so I mean, you can't count out the 49ers. You just can't.
Trey Lance looked really bad, I thought, when he was trying to throw the football. I think he started the game against the Seahawks, and I was like, wow,
Yeah,
we're going to win this game because of
yeah,
Trey Lance. Like, they could have had
I, I agree.
Nick Mullins playing, and they probably would have
Yeah,
beat us because we weren't playing
yeah,
good
no,
football.
I agree. And I wanted to say a bold statement that Trey Lance is going to suck, but he's going to run the ball, and Shanahan will put him in good spots. He's on a good. I think he's on a good team, good spot. That
Yeah,
maybe he'll prove me wrong. I just don't think he can throw, or at least not yet. I don't think he's ready to be accurate.
I don't think he's ready yet, and he hasn't played a whole bunch of football for being taken where he was because he didn't play much because of COVID, and then he came in and
Yeah,
sat, and that's just a
I
lot
don't
of
even
time
think
away
you're
from real
D1.
ball.
Wasn't it Division 2 football or something?
Something like that. Was it
Yeah,
South
a little bit.
Dakota?
Yeah,
No,
I think
Dakota,
so.
something like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So you can't count out them. The last team in the division, the Arizona Cardinals. Thoughts?
It's all on Kyler and what's he gonna do? I think losing Chandler Jones to the Raiders is definitely gonna take a big hit to their defense. I think he had like 9 sacks or something like that last year. Um, but it's when DeAndre Hopkins. When does he come back to help out Kyler? And can Kyler stay healthy and be good? Because they got weapons. Was it Marquise Brown or Hollywood Brown? I think it's a nice addition. It'll help out. But if Kyler does the Kyler thing towards the end of the season and just kind of gets hurt
Yeah,
or doesn't take the chances, then it will be a whatever season again.
Kyler's overrated. He doesn't run, by the way. He scampers, and
Yeah,
he's just overrated. Their second half, that's like 2 years in a row they've had a second half collapse. They finished
right.
1-5 to end the year. Lost
That's
Christian
bad.
Kirk, lost Chandler Jones, like you mentioned. I mean, DeAndre Hopkins is suspended 6 games for PEDs, so he's not coming back
Yep.
till week 7, and he hasn't been the same either with Kyler. They just haven't connected that
No.
well. Kyler Murray is just not very accurate, in my opinion, and their defense is nothing to write home about, especially losing Chandler Jones. So they're going to struggle to get to the quarterback, I think. I don't think
Yeah.
they're a good team. I don't think they make the playoffs, and I just don't think they're that great. I think Kingsbury, their head coach, is in over his head, and it kind of just looks like other coaches can make better adjustments when I watch them play, and he can't quite figure it out, and that's why second half of the year, like it just teams figure it out, and
Teams
it's just
figure them
not
out,
there.
and
Yeah.
he can't
So
adjust. Yeah.
yeah. So I think unfortunately I think this I am low on the Cardinals, so I do think the Seahawks have a chance to maybe get third place in this division. But this is a 2-man race, and it's not even close.
Yeah. I'd have to agree with you there. I do think Kyler is a good thrower of the football, and he's accurate. He's like 69% completion
Yeah,
percentage,
he's not
but
accurate down the field. Sorry, I wasn't
oh, that's what
specific.
you're
Yeah,
saying. Okay.
yeah,
So I was like, wait a
he
second.
can
I saw that
he
stat. I was like, no, he's money, but
no, he can dump off. And James Conner's a good running back. He stayed healthy last year and put together a heck of a season. But
yeah,
yeah, no, I mean down the field.
gotcha. That makes sense.
Fantasy breakout players. Cam Akers possibly if he's I think back from injury. He didn't look good in the playoffs last year, but I think he came back too early. If he comes back
Could be right.
healthy and looks like he used to, I think he's a good fantasy breakout player. Also, just how about one of the Seahawks running backs if they can get going? Rashad Penny, Kenneth Walker. I'll
I would
just
want
pick
to say
whoever stays
yes.
healthy.
Okay, whoever stays healthy, yes. But if they're both
Yeah,
healthy, then what? then I think it's a 1-2 and you're losing out on fantasy points because I think they're going to kind of try and keep them healthy. So you're going to miss out on the good
But
games.
they're late in the drafts. So, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I guess if with a late pick, but that's for me, it's just scary taking a guy that you're like, is he going to split carries and how many split carries? Which game's going to be his good game? That's just so stressful as a fantasy guy. I'm going to start him this game. And then his backup does good or whatever. It's like, thanks. Appreciate it.
Well, Penny hasn't stayed healthy for ever. So I think we all know how that's going to go. Kenneth Walker will be owning this backfield soon. I hope that's not the case. I'm not wishing injuries, but he just hasn't stayed healthy. So Trey Lance would be the other one fantasy-wise just because he can run. But I think people are drafting him a little bit earlier. So.
Gotcha. And Kyler Murray, I think maybe his fantasy stats will go down. He doesn't run as much as he used to. Like they were way down.
I agree. No, he's been running a little less. I agree.
Yeah. I mean, people were all over taking him high and thinking he's one of the better ones because of all his running yards and passing yards. And I looked, I was like, wait a second, it was like 300-400 yards. Mm-hmm. Like his second year, I think was like 800. So.
Yeah, no, and that's why I think he's struggling more because he's actually just relying on his arm now, and that kind of short passing game that they do with Kingsbury, but they can't score because they can't really push the ball down the field. It's just tough to score that way.
Yeah. So. Well, and I think when you're a running quarterback or a scrambling quarterback that can move, the chains with your feet, and you stop doing that, that takes away some of the explosive plays because now the defense is going, we figured you out. You're not doing that no more. You used to, but you're not.
No, I agree. It's kind of like Russell Wilson. I think when he's had some rough years, that's when he stopped running. So he's making business decisions instead. So, good old Russ. Anyways, that's the NFC West. I think the Rams are the most talented roster. Niners have a chance to give them a run for their money, but it's the Rams or nobody. I mean, Rams and Niners and nobody's. So, yeah.
I would agree there.
So that's the NFC. We did it.
Yeah,
I don't think it was as quick as we wanted, but we tried.
No, definitely not. But I think it was a good conversation.
Yeah.
So,
I agree. Hey, if you're listening to this, you probably like football. So, leave comments. We'd love to hear what you think of this NFC. Who might make it to the Super Bowl? Who's a sleeper team? Fantasy breakout guys, anything. So we're getting close to betting, but love to go back and forth. So. Leave
those comments.
But we're gonna go over some best future bets right now because I like to bet. So
I'm getting into it. So, I got to learn. So give me some time.
He's actually been betting a little bit, but he's getting there. So give me some best future bets.
I would go with offensive rookie of the year. It's plus 1,000. And that's the Chris. Olave. Yeah, of course you know his name. 30. I would go with him. I think that's a good future bet for offensive rookie of the year with some good positive money. 36 career touchdowns at Ohio State. Look at me knowing some career facts there.
Wow.
With 2,711 yards. I don't think he's going to see like double teams and stuff like that. Jameis Winston can throw the football, so I think he's going to get some targets. The last year's winner, Jamar Chase, was a wide receiver. I just think it's easier nowadays for wide receivers to win these awards potentially because the NFL is just so spread out. So it's just a lot of one-on-one make plays, and wide receivers have that option. If Kenny Pickett starts for the Steelers, it's not even close. It's going to be Kenny Pickett if he starts. If he doesn't start, then I think it's this guy.
That's
so
AFC,
I would go with him.
Though, but
Don't they break it up though? It's just.
I think it's AFC Rookie of the Year and NFC, isn't it? Or no?
No, I don't think so.
Well, maybe it might just be Rookie of the Year. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, no, I agree with you. That's a good point because I don't think there's any rookie quarterbacks that are going to come in and just dominate. Mm-mm. So I think guys like Olave have a great chance. That's a heck of a bet. I think a Buckeye to win it. But you got anything else?
For Defensive Rookie of the Year, Aiden Hutchinson. He's going to get a lot of playing time right away on a team that's going to be feisty and scrappy. Once again, Micah Parsons was the winner last year, kind of like a D-line. You just kind of show off and, go rush the quarterback, stop the running back, get your stats up. He won awards for college football. So
best lineman maybe or
best lineman. What is it here? Ted Hendrick Award and the Barty Award, something like that.
Yeah.
Um,
No,
so
no,
absolute
he's
stud
a
at
stud.
Michigan.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't like talk good things about Michigan players. But he was a
Yeah,
stud. I'm watching him and his family on Hard Knocks, and he just looks like he's got a high motor, just a high motor.
yeah.
He's a stud. So
Well,
yeah,
and being
anything else?
6'7", 264, unanimous All American, like you're gonna get a chance. I know the money's not great with plus 410, but I think that's the defensive rookie of the year right there. The other thing I would go with, usually I like picking like the underdogs, and that's my go-to. It's kind of my life story, but I would definitely go with the Giants losing the division. It's negative 111, but I think that's just a really bad team, bad roster, like we taled about.
And just to be clear, you mean fourth place in the division? Is that what you're betting for
Yeah,
them to come
fourth
in
place in
second,
the
fourth place?
division.
Okay, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's.
No, that's a good bet.
I think the
That's a
Commanders
lock.
are a decent team and can get third, and then the Cowboys aren't definitely not gonna get last, and the Eagles are gonna win. So those would be
Yeah,
my three
no, I
bets
like
for
that.
sure.
I like
Yeah.
it. I like it. Olave is
What
a
do you
great bet.
got?
So Treylon Burks to win Rookie of the Year. I got plus 1800.
Ooh,
He's a pretty good receiver. I don't know a ton about him. I've watched some highlights and just heard a little bit about him. But the thing is that he's going to be a starting receiver for the Titans. So it's him and Robert Woods,
right,
and I mean that's just going to get you a lot of opportunities right there. I don't think Tannehill's the greatest quarterback, but if they need to pass the ball a lot, then and he's going to get chances. And from what you've been hearing about him, I think just plus 1800. That's more of an odds and value type bet. So that's not a bad
right.
one. The Eagles to win the NFC East. I just think they're winning it. And they could win it by 2 games or more.
Wow.
Listen, it doesn't. It's not necessarily only because I love the Eagles and I think they're just great. I just think that division's so bad that yeah.
Yeah.
So I think they got a chance to win that division. It's plus 150, about plus 151, right in that range. I think that's a good bet. Plus money for them just to finish better than the Cowboys, Commanders, and Giants. I mean,
Oh, you were saying division. Okay, my bad. I thought you
just
meant
division.
conference.
Nope, NFC East.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right. Yep.
NFC East.
Just to win the
That's my
NFC
fault.
East. Another one. Saints to
Yep.
win the NFC South.
That's probably a good one. I don't know what the value
So
is, but if it's
plus
good, that's
350. Plus 350. So
yeah.
so did I throw up a little bit thinking I just bet Jameis to beat Tom Brady in a division? Yeah, I did a little bit. And that's not easy to do. But
Yeah.
Jameis, I mean, that team's I think they're just going to be good defensively. They got some good young weapons. Tampa Bay might take a step back. Tom Brady is, like we mentioned, Grandpa Brady, he's still a stud, but I don't
Grandpa
know. I
Goat.
think they're going to. Grandpa Goat, that's right. And so I just think he's going to take a step back. So Saints to win the NFC South plus 350.
Okay.
Last one,
Let's hear it.
Rams to win the NFC. Now they're not even the favorite to win the NFC,
That's crazy.
and they have the best roster. So I have family that are Rams fans, and it sucks to be honest. But so I don't like to compliment them, but just at the odds of plus 460 for the Super Bowl champion, best roster in the NFC. To
And that's
be, I
not
think they were like third or what? That's to win the NFC. So they're going to the Super Bowl. They don't have to win it.
Oh, okay.
But
I didn't know if that was a season stat or like playoffs included. Like they got to win the NFC
yep,
Championship game. Okay,
they have to win the NFC and go to the Super Bowl. So that's
gotcha.
plus 460. 460.
That's
That
good
means,
money.
and if you're new to betting, that means a $100 bet wins 460. I'm not throwing out many $100 bets.
I know.
But yeah, so that means $50 wins 230 if you want to go that on the future. But that's a good bet. That's a good roster, good value. So those are my bets. If you want to trash my bets and make fun of them, go for it. I'll leave a comment.
Don't trash mine. Mine are locks for sure.
Yeah, for sure. And so yeah, we're gonna give out some best bets every week. We're gonna have video actually because the season starts on Thursday. We're gonna try to get a video out before that Thursday night game.
Yep.
If we can't, then we'll get one out Friday, and then we'll just maybe tweet out best bet if we like anything for that Thursday night game. But we'll keep you posted. So we're excited. This is we're close. Season is almost here.
It's here. It's coming.
Yep, yep. The wife knows what Sundays mean right now. This last Sunday we had was the last Sunday we're gonna have without NFL football until next year. Think about that for a second. So it's
Nice.
exciting. So yeah, thanks for listening though. We appreciate it. You got anything else, Ryan, before we wrap it up?
Just it's gonna be a good year. It's fall, no more heat from the summer. I cannot stand the heat, so I'm excited about that. But football, yep, it's time to go.
Yep, that's right. Time to go. So thanks for listening again. Please hit like and subscribe. Share with your
Yep.
friends. It's gonna be a fun ride. We're gonna win some money, and we're gonna have fun doing it. So stay tuned. We got some good ideas for later this season, and we're gonna have some fun. So that's the NFC preview. Thanks again. Like, subscribe. Just a bit outside. We'll get our podcast up here just a bit. Be patient with us. We're getting there. So yeah, thanks a lot, and have a good one. Take care.
Bye. Later.